Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm your host, Ken Musgrave.
And I'm Joanne Pototsky. This week on Daybreak, we have your campus, city, and national news,
as well as weather, entertainment, and sports reports.
All that and more straight ahead on Daybreak.
One of the perks of attending a college in downtown Pittsburgh is living within walking distance of the sports stadiums. Student Activities has tickets available for Pirates games on April 12th and April 19th. Both dates are Fridays around 7 p.m. Tickets are $5. Stop by Student Activities at the Student Center to purchase your Pirates tickets. Pioneer Community Day will take place on Saturday, April 13th. It's a day to lend a hand and volunteer in communities in the Pittsburgh region. You start early and come back before dinner time for free food and drink for your hard work. USG is in charge of the event this year. Register online at orgsync.com. Choosing to go to a private college or university can be expensive, and Point Park is no exception. Scholarships are helpful, but many students are burdened by the remaining high costs of tuition, room and board, meal plans, and additional fees. According to the Globe, tuition at Point Park will increase for the 2013 to 2014 school year. Tuition for non-COPA students will be approximately $25,000, and tuition for COPA students will be roughly $31,500 per year. Supporting student sports can be an enjoyable part of the college experience. While Point Park has occasional fan vans to take students to watch the Pioneer games live, sometimes traveling can be inconvenient. You may have class or may not be feeling well. iHigh.com streams Pioneer Sports live and also archives replays. You can watch video from your computer, iPad, or smartphone, all for free. Log on to iHigh.com/Point Park Sports Network. According to the Pittsburgh Business Times Online, Robert A. Miller will give the commencement address to the undergraduate class on May 4th at Consol Energy Center. Miller is a Hollywood producer whose work includes The Crucible. He has also directed commercials and music videos. Miller was the director of Point Park's theater company, The Rep. One of Point Park's student organizations made a trip to Washington, D.C. in March. 15 members of the Point Park's chapter of the National Broadcasting Society attended the National Convention. Daybreak reporter Chris Hoffman has the story.
Point Park University students left for Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, March 20th to go to the National Broadcast Convention. The students left Pittsburgh and had a 6-hour bus ride before they arrived in D.C. I had a chance to talk with MBS President Hunter Tresnicki and Vice President Kelsey Metzger to hear their thoughts on the trip.
I've been there once before, and I was much younger, and I didn't remember it very well. So going back again, it was really neat. I really liked the trip.
I really loved the area, and I loved sightseeing, and I had a very nice time.
In addition to being there for the MBS convention, the students also got the chance to do some sightseeing of the Washington, D.C. area.
There was a small group of us. We just walked around downtown D.C. and looked at all of the monuments. That's something I had only seen on TV or in movies.
One of the highlights for these broadcast students was visiting the heaven of journalism, the museum.
It was just the coolest place for a broadcast journalist or any type of journalist or any kind of news junkie to go to see.
We played with everything that was interactive and that we got the chance to get our hands on. We had a good time with it.
On a more reverent note, the students visited Arlington National Cemetery, a place where Hunter Tresnicki's great-great-uncle was laid to rest.
Going back there, we looked up his where he was, and we looked up his headstone, and that's not something I had gotten to see before.
It was very reflective, and it was a different side to DC, but I think we were all glad that we made the trip there.
All of these people buried there served our country. and that was very humbling.
In Washington, D.C., for Point Park Television, I'm Christopher Hoffman.
Thank you, Chris, for that report. That's all for your campus news. Now, here's Joanne with City News.
In city news this week, thousands of people flocked to Market Square on Tuesday to claim one of the 10,000 free cakes being given away by TLC's cake boss, Buddy Valastro. Valastro said he chose Pittsburgh to promote his new line of cakes that are being sold at Giant Eagle stores because he knew he would receive a positive reaction. The line was wrapped around Market Square, and most waited patiently for their cake and to even get their picture taken with the cake boss. But police say there were a few fights over line jumping, and they even had to arrest a man for stealing a case of cakes. Police say they arrested 52-year-old William Davenport for stealing 4 cakes worth about $27 each from a storage area. And City Controller Michael Lamb announced that he is backing out of the Pittsburgh mayoral race. Lamb, a Democrat, said he will be endorsing former Pennsylvania Auditor General Jack Wagner, also a Democrat in the race. And the race may be thinning a bit more. Democratic candidate A.J. Richardson was charged with driving under the influence earlier this week. Police say they found Richardson slumped over the wheel of his vehicle that was stopped on Steuben Street in the West End early Wednesday morning. Richardson, a school bus monitor, refused a blood test. Police arrested Richardson, and he is awaiting a preliminary hearing. Pittsburgh City Councilman Bill Peduto and State Representative Jake Wheatley are also running for mayor under the Democratic Party. Squirrel Hill resident Josh Wander is the only Republican candidate, and Daniel Lynch is running as an independent. The primary election is scheduled for May 21st. And the University of Pittsburgh's iconic Cathedral of Learning was vandalized over the weekend. The cathedral is thought to have been vandalized by a Pitt student early Saturday morning. Witnesses say they saw 21-year-old Daniel Khan-Yousafzai spray painting the floor of the building's common area and under a bench. The letters WRC were sprayed, and facility management workers are estimating the cost of the cleanup to be between $65,000 and $100,000. And with the deadline to file taxes on Monday, April 15th, tax season is in full swing. Daybreak reporter Taylor Fareri tells us more about some easy ways here in Pittsburgh to get your taxes filed.
The hit song Thrift Shop by Macklemore has recently brought secondhand stores into the spotlight. But you probably don't associate these discount stores with filing your taxes. But now low-income families, individuals, and students alike can get their taxes filed for free with the help of Goodwill of Western Pennsylvania. Karen Wagner, Goodwill's Community Supports Coordinator, told us what the requirements are to be eligible for the program.
You can either be an individual or a family with a combined income of $57,000 or less, and it's an H&R block-based program.
They can guide you through the program at various locations on computers, help you file on paper, or you can even access the website in your own home. Karen said students can benefit from this free program because it prevents them from making common mistakes.
What you need to do, especially as a student, you have to make sure your parents are going to be counting you as a dependent. You know, that's real important because IRS does cross-reference. So if you're going to count yourself as take an exemption for yourself, make sure your parents didn't count you, because parents can count you as a dependent child up to age 24 if you're a full-time student.
They provide free computers to access the program at each location, so people without in-home computers can have a quick and simple way to get their taxes done.
You start filing for free, and then it tells you everything. Put your name and social security number and email address in there, and that tells you what to do next. And for a college student, it'll be so easy.
Goodwill's program gets all taxes filed, not just federal.
Once you do the federal, the state tax just imports all the information, and you're just about home free.
Goodwill and My Free Taxes are offering the free tax service until April 15th. For Point Park News, I'm Taylor Fareri.
Thanks, Taylor. Just a reminder, taxes are due Monday, April 15th. And that's all for your city news this morning. Now back to Ken at the couch.
Thanks, Joanne. Coming up next on Daybreak, we will have a national news report for you and a look at a campus group's trip to the nation's capital. We'll be right back.